everybody. Welcome back to Neon Trash. I'm your host, Tommy the Hammer. Today I got my buddy Bee Cee and his friend Itua hanging out tonight. We're going to be checking out Gaspar Noe's latest flick called Climax. Have you guys seen a lot of Gaspar Noe's work?
I haven't, so this is going to be my first exposed to it.
Yes. What about you, Ben?
I've seen Antichrist with Willem Dafoe in it. I liked it. It was pretty fucked up, but visually it was, impressive. And then I've heard of Irreversible, have yet to watch it, but kind of heard the same thing, that visually, good film, but also fucked up. So, that's all I know.
This guy is definitely decadent in terms of the visual sense. First time I ever saw him was a movie called I Stand Alone, which was very messed up. I'm really stoked to check out what many are calling his best flick, the most palatable movie that he's made. Even the director's father has said it's his favorite movie that his son has directed. And he even jokingly said that, wow, if everyone likes it, then I must be doing something wrong. But we'll be the judge of that. So guys, check out the trailer. You know I roll on Neon Trash when we get back. We're gonna have our opinions on Climax.
If you couldn't dance, what would you do? Suicide. Ça représente quoi la danse pour toi? C'est tout pour moi. La danse, c'est tout pour moi. J'ai que ça.
Est-ce que t'es prêt à beaucoup de choses pour réussir?
C'est-à-dire?
Oh, you're so good. You liked it? Thanks. I'm so happy. I couldn't be happier.
Truc qui monte.
Qu'est-ce que t'as? Tu sais garder un secret. Ce qui ne me tue pas me rend plus forte.
Alright, so we just got done watching Gaspar Noe's latest flick, Climax. Whoa. What a movie. What an experience. This is definitely not going to be for everyone. I feel like it's a trial, in my opinion. This movie tests not only the patience of the viewer, but like it's over the top, it's decadent. I know I liked it. I know you guys probably liked it and have your own opinions on it. I could probably talk about this movie all day. Itua, tell me, what did you think of Climax, dude?
In the sense of, and obviously I don't want to give too much away about the movie, but in the psychedelic aspect of it, honestly, I saw it as almost like a found footage movie of Requiem for a Dream, because I feel like that movie captures the downfall of like kind of just falling into that slump, especially in the drug use aspect. So like really seeing that in the way that it was shot and everything, I felt like it was just perfectly captured, and it really immerses you in the process. It's like that fly on the wall aspect that we're talking about. You are following them from start to finish, and it just feels so believable.
The cinematographer films certain scenes that go on for like 10, 20, and from what I've even heard, a 40-minute sequence that's from beginning to end, non-stop, one shot. It's impressive to see, what he puts the actors through, and what did you think about the cinematography, Ben?
I liked how it was filmed a lot. There was a lot going on in terms of like shading, camera flips, the pacing, the camera flipping and then flipping back. I mean, it makes you feel like you're on drugs, even if you're not. And I guess that's probably one of the stronger aspects of the film, is because you're watching all of these people struggle and or enjoy or just trying to deal with the situation at hand, which was them being drugged. So I feel like if you, as the viewer, feel like you're kind of going through a trial, then I think the film did its job.
There's certain sequences to the movie where I feel like the actors, I mean, they really nail it. Like, it's real. Like, you're involved in the situation that these people are in. And, you know, I've been an angst-driven youth myself, so I understand, you know, that party scene, that decadent, neon, surreal, almost like head trip vibe that this movie goes for. And the actors, I mean, the characters, not all of them are likable, are they?
No.
And if, you know, like, I'm curious what you guys think. Like, if you had to gravitate towards any of the characters, is there anyone in this movie that was endearing?
I personally didn't really think so.
Yeah.
I mean, something I feel like you kind of touched on that made the movie is that it's really just like now. It's not some thick plot movie as much as it is almost like a character study, just showing you this blip, this moment that's occurring with these people. And because of that, it's just an experience. Just, is there somewhere to tell you, hey, think about, I would tell you that this time that happened. Yeah. It almost just feels like that. And because of that, there's this sort of go with the flow process that you're not really attaching yourself to any character per se. And maybe this is like the weirdest analogy I can create, but I don't know if any of you remember the game SSX Tricky. But there was like a rival process with like the characters, so it's like it kind of made it fun when you pick certain characters. We're like, oh, I know that dude hates this dude.
Right.
So it's like all the moments where they're kind of doing like that, like VH1 show Confession, where it's showing all these conversations happening, and you start to understand this person's not really cool with this.
Wow.
Understanding that the trip is going to happen and that it's going to bring all this.
What a
situations out.
Unique point of view.
Yeah,
I didn't even think like you drew inspiration from like an early 2000s video game, which is like interesting.
It really helps the situation like unfold. I personally thought when the tension then rise and you kind of understand there are some undertones here, and so it brings out the character study aspect. It also makes this amazing experience.
Well, you know, that's a good, good point, and like let's touch on that a little bit. The culmination of the film. Ben, what did you think of the pacing, man? Like, what was your perspective? Me, I knew going into this. I mean, obviously you've seen his work before as a director. I knew there was going to be extended shots, but holy shit.
I think to watch this all at once, like, there's so many different sections of the movie, and like you said, they're all long shots, and each one, I got to a point where I was like, this is 5 or 10 minutes longer than it needed to be, and like, I felt the trial, like I'm saying, I felt the trial before that extra 5 or 10 minutes, so I was kind of like, it's almost like he was doing too much for me, when I feel like you could have got the same impression and experience. You know what I'm saying? You could have trimmed some fat.
I agree.
Now this coming from a place of two people who know his craft, me being completely new to his work and this being my first entry into it, I actually thought that those long, drawn-out scenes really made the movie for me. Because since I was already getting this found footage feel, if they were to kind of speed through those processes, it would have made it feel more cinematic movie-like. But because it drew on and you're just seeing people do this time again, it's what made I even think like the climax, no pun intended, feel very more real because it wasn't just jumped into. You see this whole thing happen almost if you put like a spy camera in somebody's house. It's like interesting things don't just happen off the bat. Time might take for it to happen. So for me, I actually thought that they all kind of added up into one big thing.
Dude, I love that point of view. The guy off camera, what?
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, for the guy that hasn't watched the movie.
I just want to ask, okay guys, how did this film climax for you?
Wow. How did it climax for us? Well, I don't know, like it's, okay, hearing what Ben just said, and hearing what Itua just said, I love that dichotomy right there. It was the yin and yang perspective. Neither one was putting down the film or necessarily uplifting it past its, its own intentions. But at the same time, you both addressed wonderful issues here, like, it's like Ben said, I was feeling it too, like there's certain scenes that he could trim down, but you have to understand at the same time, when we were looking at the movie at the beginning, the production companies that produced this film are very low budget, but there was quite a few of them, which told me that these independent companies had a lot of faith in the director and wanted to promote this film. Usually when that happens, the director is given free rein. And I feel like that's what's going on here. It's directorial decadence. And whether or not you gravitate towards that as an individual is subjective. So for me, like, yeah, I appreciate that, but you know, I see where Ben's coming from, like shave it, you know, 5 minutes or 10 minutes here. That's how the movie climaxed for me. But what about you guys? What, at the end of the day, what's your takeaway from this film, Itua?
My takeaway from the movie, I mean, obviously was, I mean, I'm not taking any drinks or drugs from strangers. I mean, I already had that philosophy going into the movie, but it just, you know, solidified that for me.
Amen.
In terms of the climax of the movie, I feel like it really had the longest climax you've ever seen.
Wow, that end
Really?
scene, right?
Yeah, it's incredibly long, but it really makes the image of the movie. I think you can easily tell, like, this is what it was building up to, and there's a very long scene of that.
Yeah.
And then, like, the falling action is, you know, clearly the final scene wrapping up everything.
Sure.
And it speaks just as much volumes as the climax does. So for me, that scene is really what the whole movie is building up to. It's really true to, honestly, the title of the film.
And what a scene it is,
Yeah.
too. Like, I mean, it's like, I mean, it's decadent, it's over the top, it might be too long. What's your takeaway with this flick, Ben?
My takeaway is that it's almost to me like a better done and more adult version of Skins, honestly.
I don't even know what Skins is.
Skins is
I gotta say that.
Well, it was originally a UK teen drama, young adult drama,
Okay.
and it's honestly a bunch of kids doing drugs and making bad decisions.
Gotcha.
But I would say the consequences in that show are less harsh. But my other takeaway is that I don't necessarily think there was a message behind this,
No.
but if it was trying to make you have this overwhelming feeling of like getting fucked up kind of sucks, I feel like there's movies that do it better. I feel like if you're interested in like how things are filmed and like, you know, an art house type of director, like this is a really good movie to watch.
Yeah.
And like Enter the Void's another good example from the same director.
Even better, probably his best flick.
But if you're looking for something that like you have more of a visceral reaction to, I think there's films that are better than this.
Sure, sure. So yeah, I think we've all said what we can about Gaspar Noe's latest flick, Climax. Real quick, we're gonna do a star count because that's how we do it on my channel. We go 10 stars. For me, Climax, and seeing a lot of this guy's work, it's not my favorite. Enter the Void is probably my favorite. I could give this maybe a solid 7 out of 10. Itua, what about you, man?
I give it an 8 out of 10, honestly. I think this is a movie that where all the elements really come together nice. So for me, I think it definitely did itself justice.
Oh yeah, man, 8 is great. Ben, lay it on us. Out of 10, brother.
For me, I'm feeling a 6.5. I liked the way it was filmed. Very talented, artful, crafty director. The soundtrack is amazing.
Yes.
And each decision he made when it came to the confessions at the beginning, the dance scenes and all that, I liked all of it. It just all felt too long.
Yeah.
So
It's a trial, guys, so if you're not used to it, you're not familiar with this guy's work, and you're coming into this blind, well, fair warning, it's gonna put you to the test. Until next time, guys, tune in to Neon Trash.